You're in the starting soon, so you can go and jump to main.
So when I go to main, it'll be me.
Yeah.
But right now it's showing starting soon.
So see, we can talk.
Oh.
Yeah, and it
So
says
there's no
starting
music.
soon.
Oh, should we make it play music or something?
Later. You're in the starting soon, so you can go and jump to main. Bye.
Bye. That's my beautiful wife. This is gonna be. Oh, this is weird because it's gonna be like. Okay. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Farmer Traders. If you've never been here before, which is most likely you, because this is a brand new channel, welcome. So here at Farmer Traders, I share with you what I am currently learning as far as technical analysis goes. My main focus right now is on Bitcoin. However, I'm going to eventually be expanding into more markets. I am familiar with looking at a lot of the cryptocurrencies, and somewhat familiar with looking at stocks, somewhat familiar with looking into Forex. But my goal is to transition out of full-time work. Currently work for a Fortune 500 company. I'm an engineer at an R&D company. We make medical devices, and that's about all that I'm comfortable with sharing right now. I don't want it out there that I'm considering moving on. But yeah, I work 9 to 5. Working remotely about half the time in the office. And yeah, it's a good job, good payment, or good paying job, with good benefits and all that good stuff. But I want out of that. I want to be free to go wherever I want, whenever I want. And with this job, I can't do that. I'm stuck in one place and get to only take my couple weeks of vacation a year to leave wherever I want to go. I want to work on my own schedule. It's my dream to start a business, perhaps even a charity one day, nonprofit organization. Still toying around with some of those ideas of the business I'd like to start. But in the meantime, I just want to be free from working for another company other than myself. So yeah, I'm learning how to trade, and started in January this year looking at technical analysis. I'd never heard of a candlestick chart until January, and I'm here now, drawing magical lines all over the place. So most of my portfolio is in Bitcoin and Ethereum. I used to own stocks. And I no longer own any stocks except for what's in my Roth IRA, which is all in GBTC. I switched it over from a few tech stocks that I owned, sold them all a few days ago, about a couple weeks ago, and bought GBTC a little bit higher than what it's at now. I bought around here a couple weeks ago, and it's since come down, but I'm expecting recovery up and beyond this area on GBTC. So if you don't know, GBTC, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, is a derivative that tracks the price of Bitcoin. It's a stock derivative. I don't know honestly exactly how it works, but I should do my own research more. But I know that it's a fund that buys into Bitcoin, and yeah, the long and short of it is as Bitcoin goes up, the trust goes up, and vice versa. So if you want to get exposure to Bitcoin, but you don't want to buy the actual coin, you want to do it in your Roth or your Roth IRA or some other investment portfolio or investment vehicle, then you can go and buy Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. So yeah, that's mostly all I own. About 75% of my crypto portfolio is Bitcoin. The other 25% is Ethereum. I'm mostly actively looking at Bitcoin, but I'm going to start looking more at Ethereum. I've bounced around in and out of alts, a little bit of money here and there, and I've since sold most of those, or all of those alts, a few of them at a loss. Mostly just because I just really want to consolidate my efforts into Bitcoin and then Ethereum, and then kind of work my way out from there. I was kind of doing a shotgun approach at the beginning and getting really distracted looking at everything all at once, and it was a bit overwhelming, especially because I am working a full-time job. And the name of the channel is Farmer Traders, as you can see. And let me see if I can fix this that way. Yes, there we go. Yeah, the name of the channel is Farmer Traders, and that is because I am trying to become a farmer as well. That's no joke. My wife and I are trying to, or we are learning to grow our own food. Currently, we live in a 1,000 square foot 2-bedroom apartment and have no land, but we are using containers to grow all of our food out in our back porch. We do have lucky enough to be on the first floor and have a back porch that is directly connected to a bunch of grass. We're growing about 20 or so 10 to 25 gallon containers full of veggies. It's not going to be enough food to let us survive off of, but it's getting our feet wet. And our long-term goal is to own a homestead, and for us to both be financially independent, working on our own. Shirley, my wife, is a creator, artist, and she is promoting her brand. And now I'm going to be promoting my brand here. So yeah, come along with me for the ride as I learned to trade crypto and eventually Forex and stocks and equities potentially as well. But yeah, right now, focus is Bitcoin, and that's what I'll be talking about now. So if you were here with me last time, we drew in a bunch of lines together. Pretty much nothing's changed as far as the chart goes, except I added in some other lines here. So let's go ahead and delete these, and I'll add them in with you all together. We can get our levels in. So right now Bitcoin is trading at, let's see here, about 34,600. Last time we were together, Bitcoin was down here, somewhere around this area. It must have been on Friday the 25th. Yeah, so we were down, I remember, we were down here. And all these levels we drew in were based off of the weekly or the dailies. Maybe some of them were based off the 3-day, but pretty much we were just looking at reversal points, drawing in support and resistance at these reversal points. You can see, looking at the 8-hour, the market definitely is respecting all these lines. Some of them I may have added in sooner, or may have added in after the live stream that we did last time. So yeah, it looks like I think I added this one in. I think I added this one in the other day. But yeah, these are basically just all the key levels that I believe the market's respecting. I'm not currently making any trades, i.e. I'm not using margin. I do have a little bit of money on KuCoin right now that I am ready to deploy as margin to enter a long position or a short position if I think it's worth it. But I am not long on Bitcoin or any other asset at the moment. I'm looking for a long on Bitcoin. I might take a long on Bitcoin if we get above this level here. You can see I have a long position, tracker, whatever thingy in TradingView here. It's because I'm eyeing an entry once we break through this resistance. I don't know if I'm going to take it. I might put just a very, 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 very small, inconsequential amount on it just for the sake of practice. Because I'm still learning here. I've only taken a handful of longs in my life, and they've all been on Bitcoin. I've never used margin or leverage on any other asset besides Bitcoin, which is, I think, hilarious that I just jumped right in with Bitcoin pretty reckless, honestly. I've lost money doing that. So once again, this channel is also not financial advice. If you follow me, this is for educational purposes only. You will lose money if you copy me. So do your own research and make trades at your own risk. I am not a financial advisor. I am, in fact, a complete and utter noob at trading. I have 6 months of very, very basic experience doing this. So just so you're aware. But yeah, I'm eyeing a potential entry here. Stop loss maybe somewhere, honestly, safer would probably be right about here. It's putting you at a risk of 4.5%, the reward of about 14%. That's pretty good. That is to say, if you get to this exit position, which is, definitely doable. We were just there a couple weeks ago on the 14th of June. We tried to break out. This is the kind of the key level that is going to be pretty hard to get above, in my opinion. And then after that, it'll be about 46, probably somewhere around here. So if the market actually breaks out of this level, that would be another good place to go long. But I'm expecting that once we get here, we'll probably consolidate into resistance for a little bit. So yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to go over all these horizontal lines. They're just support and resistance. If you want to learn more about how to set these lines, I would encourage you to watch my most recent video from the 25th. But yeah, the lines that I had at the beginning of this video that I deleted were descending resistance levels. Those types of levels you can draw just kind of from peak to peak. There's different strategies for it, but essentially you're just trying to look for trends or patterns in the charts where, these charts, these candlestick charts tend to follow descending and ascending, support and resistances. Like you can draw support from here to here to here, and you can see you get a candle touch, boom there, and then here as well. And then once you draw those in, you can clone them and kind of get an idea of the direction price is taking and support and resistance around that direction. There's probably more to say than that. I mean, look, touch. So the markets like to follow these parallel structures. As far as why, I don't really know, herd mentality, consensus, everyone's looking at the same thing, self-fulfilling prophecy, could be many things, but all I know is it works, and I think it's really all that matters. So yeah, basically what I did the other day was I drew in this descending line. I know a lot of people at CTM, which is Conquering the Markets, headed by Jordan Lindsay, are looking at this line. And I think it's a very important line as well. This line is indicating kind of some pretty major downward resistance that Bitcoin's in. So you can think Bitcoin is currently in a descending pattern. Bitcoin is going, its momentum is headed down right now. Bears are in control. Before this breakdown over here, Bitcoin was in an ascending pattern, and bulls were in control. So your momentum was to the upside. Bitcoin just, by and large, this isn't really a very accurate trend line, but Bitcoin by and large was in an upward trend, and now it has since reversed and is in a downward trend. The goal of drawing these trend lines is to get ideas of if Bitcoin is headed out of that trend, but in advance of it being clear that it's out of that trend. So you want to know if Bitcoin's making progress one way or the other, upwards or downwards. So when you break out of these types of trend lines like this, you get an idea of, okay, it is reversing out of this downward trend and headed more into an upward direction. It's probably a terrible way of explaining it, but it's important to draw these, I think it's important to draw in these diagonal trend lines. A lot of traders don't even use them. A lot of traders rely very heavily on them. Technical analysis is an art form, as some would say, so it's kind of up to you. I would emphasize that your horizontal levels are much more important than your diagonals, and you could do all your trading around horizontal support and resistance, but the diagonals will give you another edge, in my opinion. So, starting out looking at Bitcoin, most obvious one to draw in, and probably and arguably the most important one, is this right here. As far as why, just trust me. Can't really give you a good explanation as to why, but this is the major one that we need to break above. It's mainly just because it signifies that you're getting out of this initial breakdown. So when Bitcoin broke down, came back up, and then came down from there, and has never since come up back to this line again. So once we get back up to this line, then we know that we are challenging this breakdown basically and trying to get back above it. So we're going to start with this. Bitcoin's nowhere close to getting this trend line. Okay, it's getting closer only because it's been moving horizontally. It has not been getting closer in the up and down, just mostly in the left to right. But nonetheless, it's getting closer, which is good. It's not getting further away from it. That's good. But yeah, we start with drawing this trend line. Then anytime you draw a diagonal trend line, it's always a good idea to clone that line and then see if you can find any other interactions with a clone version of that trend line. And with this one, it is very clear that Bitcoin, boom, right there, is especially recently. My wife is in here. What's that, babe? Okay. That Bitcoin is in a descending kind of a triangle formation here, sort of like a 90-degree right angle triangle that is being compressed by the clone of this trend line, and it is having a hard time getting above this line. It came above it recently, but the 13th, 14th of June, and then promptly went back below it. But you can see clearly that these candles are touching that trend line. I would bring it down a little bit here. The wicks are kind of going through it. We kind of broke above it and came back down. Wicks are kind of going through it. I don't know. It's kind of hard to find these trend lines perfectly. They don't always fit perfectly, but they do clearly interact with the candles. So it's a good place to put this. I'm going to actually tweak it a little bit. Let's see here. I think I can get it a little better. Let's draw this a little more like that. And then clone. And then, let's drop down. We're on the daily. Let's drop down to the 8-hour. Yeah, that looks a little better. So we don't really need all of this back here. It does have support and resistance and interaction with the trend line up here, which is a good sign. Or at least gives me more confirmation that the market, is kind of respecting this pattern. But I wouldn't expect it to matter or for it to even follow this trend line too much back here, because the market didn't start seeing this line until we drew it in here. So until we had this peak and then came off of it. So yeah, I think that about does it. We can lower it just a little bit, maybe. Kind of see this. Yeah, that could have been a little bit of a breakout. Had a little bit of a breakout here, and then a pretty major breakout, but it failed ultimately back here, and tried to break out again, and then now we have actually broken out above it. And this is a pretty good move. This is basically, we had this breakout here. We're having a breakout again, and we've already retested, which is good. Breakout, retest, and we've resumed. So the market here, we broke out, we didn't retest it, and by the time we finally came back down to it, we broke below it. So here we're getting a breakout, retest, and it looks like it's trying to resume up. So anytime you have a resistance and you break out and you just keep going, that often happens in crypto, and it can be a bullish move. But from what I've seen and from what I know, when you get a breakout, retest, and resumption up, you can rely on that move back to the upside more so than a move where it just breaks out and then comes back in much later for the retest. So it's kind of what's happening here. I mean, I don't know if that's true. Don't quote me on that. That's just kind of an observation I've made. I could be totally wrong. I don't know the percentages. Should look into that some more. But we kind of had a breakout here in like mainly this area when we broke out here. You know, the market never retested, and so then it broke. So it was kind of weak, and it broke back below it. And you know, we kind of had that here also. We broke out above this area, 24,000. I kind of think the market probably would like to retest that because it never really got a good retest. We broke out right around here, and it never had a good retest of that resistance. So it doesn't have to happen, but you know, it just gives it more support when it does retest. So, all right, where were we? Drawing in our descending line here. I think I'm happy with that, the way that looks. And then I had cloned this line some more to get more support. I think around, I think I was looking at it right about there. Yeah. Just a little more of an idea. It's not perfect, but you know, we get some interaction with some wicks almost right on the tips of these wicks, right through this wick, tip of this wick. So that's pretty good. Just kind of confirming that Bitcoin's in this descending channel, and it's respecting this one as support by and large. Just broke below it once, and these wicks below it here. But other than that, it's touched it and, you know, respected it as support. It's just in this descending channel. And then if you want even more accuracy or even more data points, you can draw one kind of right through the middle. Yeah, Bitcoin likes this line also. You know, it's been support and resistance kind of all the way through this descending channel. Doesn't really give you much more of an edge, I would say, but it just kind of confirms once again that Bitcoin is following this parallel pattern. So let's get rid of this middle one because I don't think it's helping. But this will give us an idea of support of where Bitcoin could end up if it breaks down. And then this one will give us an idea of how Bitcoin's doing as far as breaking out of this descending resistance. So that ends with this, or that ends, you know, look at that of any relevance to this trend line. Then I would say we could also draw in the descending line here. And we're currently breaking out of this as well. So we got a descending line from here very clearly. Market was trying to push up into that line and was being rejected by this line here, and then we, you know, bounced off of it, came down, bounced back below this trend line, retested it, resumed down, came back up, and we have now broken out of both of these downward sloping channels or downward sloping resistances, which are now being tested as support as we speak. Let's try to make this a little accurate. Maybe could bring this in a little more and maybe even scoot it out a little more here. And then, yeah, nice clean breakout, retest, and we're resuming up. And looking to go long, maybe. I'm probably not going to take the trade, or maybe just a little, very small position just to kind of get my feet wet in trading. But looking to enter potentially somewhere around 35.45 or 35 for 35,500. Sorry, 35,500. Maybe we get a breakout of that, a retest and resumption off. That would be a place that I might consider entering a small practice trade. So, yeah, Bitcoin is trying to repair itself. Can maybe flip over to Twitter a little bit. I've been seeing some interesting tweets I've been liking, share with you guys. Make sure this is sharing. Yep. Okay, you guys can see Twitter. Don't mind some of the based people on my Twitter. If you get offended, sorry, not sorry. Take it up with the management. So likes, what have I liked recently? Not loading. I changed my name. It's supposed to say Farmer Traders now. Okay, Farmer Traders. The next Bitcoin panic will be in just a few days around the following hash rate. If anyone has any info on how low the hash rate can go before it becomes a real security issue, please let me know. Okay, so that's an interesting thing. Bitcoin, the hash rate, which is the... okay, I'm going to try to explain something I hardly know anything about. But my understanding is the hash rate of Bitcoin. Let's look it up. Hash rate of Bitcoin. Mining hash rate. Oh, look, it's gone down. Crazy amount, whatever it is. Mining hash rate is a key security metric. The more hashing computing power in the network, the greater its security and its overall resistance to attack. Although Bitcoin's exact hashing power is unknown, it is possible to estimate it from the number of blocks being mined in the current block difficulty. So, okay, basically, from what I understand, the hash rate is determined by the amount of Bitcoin miners on the network, on the blockchain, working towards mining Bitcoin, which, if you don't know anything about Bitcoin mining, I would encourage you to look it up. It's kind of complicated, but definitely within grasp for most people. A lot of the Bitcoin miners have gone offline recently in China. Actually, all of the major mining companies in China had to shut down operations because China has outlawed Bitcoin mining in China. So a lot of the miners, the majority of the miners were in China. They've all had to shut down their operations. So theoretically now, because of that, Bitcoin mining is the process of verifying transactions on the blockchain, and with the fewer miners, and i.e. the less hash rate on the network, the less secure technically it is. Bitcoin is, I don't know relatively how insecure it is now, or unsecure, but it is technically less secure than, say, at this point when the hash rate was at 178 TH per second, total hash rate per second. So that's potentially something that might, drive narratives to push the price of Bitcoin around. Who knows? But that's what's going on in the world of Bitcoin out there, actually, in the mining world. All right, let's skip over this one. Skip over that one. Volume is looking like we would expect. Should Bitcoin be in a Wyckoff accumulation? So Bitcoin may be in a Wyckoff accumulation right now. That's just a term. Wyckoff, was a guy who in the early 1900s studied technical analysis and wrote a lot of the theory behind technical analysis that we use today. And he came up with these schematics that describe different phases that assets go through, particularly when large players are kind of manipulating the price. And that seems to be what Bitcoin may be going through right now, is what's known as a Wyckoff accumulation phase, which occurs after a distribution phase. So when you have Bitcoin or an asset trading up really high, like it was here, or trading, in these waves like this could have been a Wyckoff distribution, which means that basically the asset was growing in price and then being distributed to buyers, then grew in price, then the smart money distributed to buyers, and it shot up in price and the smart money distributed to buyers. So smart money selling to dumb money, smart money selling to dumb money, institutions selling to retail, institutions selling to retail, boom. We had a bit of a crash, and then now smart money's accumulating. They're accumulating here. So this is potentially, the theory is this is a Wyckoff accumulation, and the schematic has all these, points that price usually follows these particular patterns, and that helps smart traders confirm that that's the phase we're in, so that way they can determine whether or not they can expect the price to move back into another accumulation phase or distribution phase, or to move down into another accumulation, an even lower accumulation phase. So Bitcoin could go one of two ways. It could go up or go down, obviously. And if it goes up, then we're out of the Wyckoff, phases. If it goes down, then we're just in a lower distribution or accumulation phase. So what this tweet is saying, it's proposing that based on volume, the amount of Bitcoin traded, he thinks, or she, or they think that it's just further confirmation that we are in accumulation, which is a good sign for bulls on Bitcoin. If we're in accumulation, then we're going to break out of the accumulation probably pretty soon, and head into breaking out of this upper red line and into starting to test this line, which once we get back above this line, that's going to be super bullish for Bitcoin. Oh, this guy doesn't like his Australian lockdown. Hey, I was Michael's 100th follower today. Alright. Truth Capital, this is Gus. Gus is the man. Goal right now is to profit off a relief rally if price were to break out of this wedge. Measured move is showing 46K, but we'll be taking profits before then on both spot and leverage. Go ahead and follow Truth Capital. This guy knows what's up. I've watched some of his videos. Brandon, Crypto Trades and Tech, interviewed him. Very active trader, very knowledgeable. Uses these weird candles that are called Heikin-Ashi candles. See Heikin-Ashi? Yeah, you learn something from him. But he's just showing a trade setup that I liked. See, here's this Wyckoff distribution. This guy's thinking the opposite of what the other guy was thinking. This guy thinks we're here in the Wyckoff event, which honestly, this looks uncannily like Bitcoin. So this is Bitcoin right here. And, this could have been an accumulation. This could have been a distribution. We're probably he's saying we might be in another distribution instead of accumulation. And then we're going to enter accumulation here. So this guy thinks we were in accumulation, distribution again, just at lower price. And then we're going to go down into an even lower price, which would put us probably in the $20,000 range. Who knows? That's the confusing thing about Wyckoff schematics is you can interpret them to be here or here. It's hard to tell a difference, So, only time will tell. This is something interesting I learned. These engulfing candlestick patterns determine momentum. So bearish engulfing, if the second candle engulfs the first candle, but it's a down candle versus an up candle, your momentum's heading down. Same thing here and here, and then the opposite's true as well, bullish engulfing. So this is a sign of reversal, can show direction of future price. So if you have a bullish engulfing, then more likely than not you're going to have another green candle, and vice versa. Alright, and this is showing an engulfing move. Yeah, that's enough looking at Twitter. I don't have much else to share about Bitcoin. Just looking to see if we get above this level. That's where I'm eyeing. We have some good momentum breaking out of this trend line and this trend line. Take a quick look at Ethereum before signing off. Ethereum's been making some bullish moves. So I've got a bunch of horizontal levels drawn in on Ethereum right now, kind of all over the place. But I'm pretty sure they're key levels. Yeah, looking at this is a nice daily resistance that we're going to need to break out of. Another daily resistance. You can see here, we needed to break out of this reversal. We've got some resistance here. Yep, boom, resistance, boom, resistance here. So yeah, we've got a lot of resistance to cut through before we get back into good price ranges on Ethereum. My cost basis for Ethereum is I bought in somewhere around here, I believe. Yeah, so I'm up on my Ethereum spot, which is nice because I'm down on my Bitcoin spot, and I bought Ethereum later than I bought Bitcoin, which is kind of funny. Ethereum's been, um, you know, outperforming Bitcoin this cycle as expected. So, yep, we got I'm drawing a, I'm going to get rid of all these. These are kind of useless. So yeah, we drew in this diagonal. This is kind of the support that Ethereum's riding on right now. Pretty key level that goes back to, the beginning of the year, about 6 months. And we stayed above it pretty much, the whole time, except early on here in January, and then just a few days ago we were breaking down below it, and I saw a lot of people get really bearish on Ethereum when we got below this line for good reason. This is a line that's been held for a while, and we broke below it, but hey, we've quickly come back out of it, so that's a good sign. Show us strength on Ethereum's part, and let's see, we can draw in some diagonals. Maybe we can go to the 8-hour. See what we got here. Okay, long since broken out of this trend line. Yeah, you can see it right there. Little breakout, retest, resumption. Breakout, retest, resumption, retest, and then kind of just trading sideways away from it. So that was a really steep one. We're never going to go back below this line. But let's take a look at some other ones. Ethereum, it's hard. It's hard for me to trade Ethereum or to see its levels because Ethereum had a blow off top basically. Ethereum did one of these moves where it just went boom, 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 launch. Straight up vertical for a few days there. I should have sold my Ethereum. I should have known better. I watched it and I said, this can't be sustainable. Like, we went from 2,000 to 4,000 in a matter of days. 100%. I was like, wow, that's crazy. I'm going to hold it. I should have known better. And we crashed like crazy. Now it's just, I'm barely above water on my Ethereum trade, or my Ethereum spot, not trade. So it is what it is. I'm learning. But yeah, let's see. We got any more resistance to break out of here? Doesn't look like much. Maybe here. Yeah, looks like we're breaking out of that resistance. Yeah, that looks pretty clear to me. So, yeah, Ethereum kind of similar to Bitcoin, just broke out of resistance, a downward channel. I'll probably clone this and get some more levels, just for curiosity. Yeah, I see some action there. You can see some here. Yeah, doesn't really help me, or it's not really useful, but it's interesting to see. We can clean this up a little bit, perfect it. Can see this coming a little more, maybe to the wick. No, I think I liked it where it was. I think I liked it on the daily. Yeah, because that's just a wick on the daily. So you see, I have it going through a wick on the daily, and then I get this nice touch on these two wicks. And then straight into a touch here, and then a clear breakout. Oh, getting a phone call. Hang on, folks. Oh man, old friend of mine. I'll call him back later. See if he leaves a message. You know what? Hang on. Be right back. Hello? Hello?
Shane?
Hey, what's up, Lou?
Hey, I'm glad you still have my number.
Yeah, I do. How you doing, man? Good, good.
What are you up to? I heard, you moved to Miami?
Yeah, I moved to Miami and then I moved to Indiana, so I'm actually living in Indiana now.
You're in Indiana now.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool, dude. How's it going there?
It's going all right. Hanging in there. Just I'm working. I moved here for work, so yeah, working from home, working in the office a little bit. I work at a R&D company doing. We make automation equipment for hospitals. Yeah, what are you gonna do? Okay, I'm back. Old friend of mine called me and wanted to know how another friend of mine was doing. Long story short, old friend of mine called me, and that was random and weird, but it was good to hear from my old friend. Yeah, Ethereum. We got a resistance here. We're breaking out of it. Ethereum's looking short, compared to what it's been doing. I don't want to say it's bullish, because this is not bullish, but we are looking like we're trying to repair. So Ethereum's repairing, Bitcoin's repairing, nature's healing itself. Let's see where we go. Honestly, I think that's plenty for tonight. See you guys again later. Come see me every night at 8 p.m. Bye.